Hello, everyone. This is my first weekly reflection on Chapter 1. I didn't know what to think about this class before actually stepping into it. I didn't know what it was going to be about. I had no idea. But after reading Chapter 1, I completely fell in love, with this course. Um, just with the idea of transformative education, which is based on a set of principles which I think should be executed out in every classroom. The principles behind this idea are amazing. Like, for example, on page 10, it first describes how the transformative education serves as a way of thinking about the world, and it serves about understanding the relationships between teachers and students. This is extremely important for someone who wants to work with kids, just because I think this is the foundation of teaching, or at least one of the foundations of teaching. I like the principles that are behind this theory. I believe that all of them are absolutely dead on correct. As far as how human beings are, one of the things that this theory teaches is how human beings, by nature, must love and be loved, or how human beings are beings of knowledge. This is absolutely true. If you look at babies early on, all they do is they need to feel affection in order for them to be functional in society. They're curious. They're curious little creatures. They love to learn, and they're like a sponge. They learn everything that's in front of them, even if you don't teach them. Just by a baby looking at what you do on a daily basis, they are learning from it. So I think like this theory is just absolutely perfect, and it should be implemented in every classroom. The other thing that was spoken about was the prejudice and bias, and how indirectly teachers are teaching students how to be biased and how to be prejudiced indirectly. On one of these pages, it says how teachers whatever they learned as a child, whatever their parents taught them, that unconsciously they're going to go ahead and they're going to reflect it in their actions, the way they speak, the words that they use, and that is reflected on their teaching skills in the classroom. This chapter also spoke about oppression and liberation, which is on page 15. Once again, prejudice and bias. It also spoke about the difference between difference and being different and being oppressed, which I think that is huge. Just because nowadays we feel like just because you are different, you are out of the norm, but really there is no norm. Okay, someone who I don't know, let's say a man who dresses as a woman, we say that he is oppressed, but no, or he's different, but no, he's not out of the norm. That's who he is. So we have to come into terms with who he is, and we have to teach students about that as well, which I think is very important. The other thing which I thought was important was the vulnerability that we have as children. All of us have it, and it is true. We are vulnerable and young as kids, and later on in life that could lead to oppression, prejudice, and bias. The other thing was that I think is affecting the education system nowadays is the becoming aware of our privileges, which is on page 25. Every student has different privileges, in the sense that some students may be, let's say some students may have access to clean water, others may not have access to clean water. We take that for granted because that's something so small. Okay, so what I think we have to teach students is how different we all live, but different is okay. It's not something bad, it's not something negative. Being different is okay, and we have to come into terms with accepting it. So I think it's very important how to teach kids to feel and see and live in someone else's shoes, in other words. The other thing that was spoken about here is about the roles of an oppressor and being oppressed, which I think it's also another important topic that was discussed, just because it plays such a big role in the education system. And also, the other thing I want to state is I like the way how this book works, in the sense that you read a section and then it allows you to do an activity. And it's an activity that deals with your own feelings and emotions, with the stuff that has happened in your own life. So I think reading it and then interacting the way that you have to interact with the book, I think that's amazing, because that lets you learn the section better. And that's it. Well, everyone, I hope you liked my reflection.